We're going to take a look at some alternate pathways for photosynthesis in this lecture. The first one is called the C3 photosynthesis. The first detachable molecule following fixation is a 3-carbon molecule, hence the name C3. This happens in wheat, rice, and oats, and the mesophyll layers run in parallel layers, and I'll show you a picture of that in just a second. The bundle sheaths around the plant veins do not have chloroplast in them in a C3 plant. C3 photosynthesis has some other things that go on. First of all, RUBP can bind with oxygen, and this is called photorespiration. This is actually kind of a wasteful reaction because it's going to use the oxygen and release carbon dioxide, which is just opposite of what we expect a plant to do, and decreases the overall efficiency. The oxygen concentration in the leaf is going to go up when the weather is hot and dry because the plant's going to close its stomata and it's going to conserve the water that it has. So here we see the parallel cells in the mesophyll layer. We notice that around this vein there are cells with no chloroplast. This is called the bundle sheath. This is the vein that carries the water and nutrients back and forth. And here's the stoma surrounded by guard cells, and when it's open it has a stomata opening. And this C3 pathway happens in plants such as tulips. There's another pathway called the C4 pathway. This happens in sugarcane and corn. The mesophylls are arranged in concentric rings around the bundle sheath, and there's also chloroplast in the bundle sheath. The CO2 is initially fixed to a C4 molecule. That's where we get the name C4 pathway. The C4 molecule is later broken down to 3C molecule and carbon dioxide, and then that carbon dioxide is going to enter the Calvin cycle. C4 plants tend to be found in hot, dry climates. And those climates require the stomata to stay closed to conserve water. The oxygen is going to build up in the leaves, but the RUBP carboxylase is not exposed to the oxygen in the C4 plants, and you don't get photorespiration like you do in the C3 plants. Instead, in the C4 plants, the carbon dioxide is delivered to the Calvin cycle, and that is located in the bundle sheath cells that are sheltered from the leaf airspace. And you see this looks a lot different than the C3 plant did. And we have the vein in the center, we have the bundle sheath with the chloroplast, and we have the mesophyll layer that is actually arranged around that bundle. Let's see where they thrive. When the weather is moderate, C3 plants tend to have the advantage. Where it's hot and dry, the C4 plants have the advantage. And we used to expect to see those C4 plants predominate in those regions that are hot and dry. In the early summer, the C3 plants, such as the Kentucky bluegrass, are going to be what grows the best in the lawns in the cooler parts of the United States. By the middle of summer, when it's warmer, the crabgrass takes over, and the crabgrass is a C4 plant, so it's more predominant during the hot, dry times of midsummer. Another pathway is the CAM pathway. This is prevalent among succulent plants that grow in deserts like the cactus. The CAM plants partition carbon dioxide fixation by time. During the night, they fix the CO2 and they form C4 molecules. The C4 molecules get stored in the large vacuoles, and then during the day, the C4 molecules release carbon dioxide into the Calvin cycle. This is carbon dioxide fixation in a CAM plant. A pineapple is a CAM plant as well, in addition to the succulents such as the cactus. We're going to finish up the chapter by looking at photosynthesis and cellular respiration side by side. Remember that both plant and animal cells carry out cellular respiration. That happens in the mitochondria in both types of cells. The function is to break down glucose, and it's going to use oxygen and give off carbon dioxide. Remember that only plant cells photosynthesize. That occurs in the chloroplast. Its job is to build glucose. It uses the carbon dioxide and gives off oxygen. Both of those processes use an electron transport chain and chemiosmosis to produce ATP. So if we take a look at them side by side, from the last chapter, cellular respiration, over here on the right, we have glycolysis. We have the prep reactions that lead to the citric acid cycle and the production of ATP in the electron transport chain. And in photosynthesis, we have solar energy coming in. We have the light reactions happening in the thylakoid. We have the Calvin cycle that is going to convert carbon dioxide into sugar. And that energy that is given in the sugar is going to be what drives the reactions for cellular respiration. So that's just a quick overview of how those two things are connected, and we finished photosynthesis and cellular respiration now.